Game week 12 is fast approaching us, and that only means one thing. Big dilemmas have to be made. Do I bring in Mo Salah this week? Well, let me talk you through my transfer plans for game week 12. But before we get started, make sure you guys like this video, because I don't think you guys know. If you like this video, you're guaranteed a green arrow. Don't ask for the science behind it. It's the truth. But anyway, let's start with my team. And I'm going to go through my team without, let's say, the transfers that I'm thinking of right now. I currently have 4 free transfers, 0 million in the bank. But I feel like I'm in a very good position. I have 2 transfer routes that I'm thinking about going down, which I'll explain further down in the video. But currently my team without any transfers is Nick Pope in goal. Manchester City at home. We know that's going to be a difficult fixture. We know Manchester City, they have arguably the most informed player in the world right now in Erling Haaland. They probably will score, let's be honest. But can, let's say, Nick Pope pick up save points? Hopefully. We know Dan Burn's going to be out for this game after he got his red card last game. That makes Newcastle worse defensively, let's say, because we know how important Dan Burn is to Eddie Howe. So I'm not really hopeful for, let's say, anything big from Nick Pope this week. But listen, what can you do? Are you really going to waste a transfer on a keeper? The answer to that question is probably no. Now, I've gone with Timber, who has Tottenham at home. Listen, Arsenal defence, even without Gabriel, I still expect to be relatively solid. Do I expect Arsenal to be worse off without Gabriel? 100%. Because you could argue Gabriel is Arsenal's best defender. But at the same time, I've seen, let's say, other people say that it's going to be a big drop-off if we're looking at data when Gabriel's been out previously. But I feel like this year, Arsenal are very, very well prepared in that left centre-back area. For example, Hincapié, I think that's how you pronounce his name, can obviously slot in. Is he better than Gabriel? No. Is there a drop-off? 100%. Are Arsenal worse with Hincapié in the team compared to Gabriel? Yes. But is Hincapié a better replacement than what Arsenal had previous years with Kiwior, for example? The answer to that question is also yes. So I still expect Arsenal to be fine. It's a North London derby. Anything can happen. But Tottenham, in my personal opinion, have been poor. I have not been impressed Tottenham offensively. We do know Tottenham are better away, let's say. So, listen, I expect Arsenal to win this game still. I probably will say Arsenal to have a relatively good chance of keeping a clean sheet. If we're looking at clean sheet odds, which I'll talk about a bit later in this video, Arsenal still have a 46% chance with keeping a clean sheet. When Gabriel was fit, it was a 47% chance. So the bookies' odds are still relatively strong, even without Gabriel's with Gabriel being out. Arsenal are still an incredible defense. The other 2 centre backs, let's say, or defenders really, have Anderson against Sunderland at home. That is a relatively good fixture on paper. Could Sunderland score? 100%. But at the same time, Anderson's great for DEFCON. You expect Fulham, they have a reasonable chance of keeping a clean sheet, let's say, even though Sunderland have been brilliant this season. And then the third defender right now is Senesi. West Ham at home. Again, a good fixture. We know Senesi's aerial presence offensively as well. We know West Ham are not good at defending, let's say, set pieces. It could be a very, very nice game for Senesi, even though I've seen people say Bournemouth's defensive data has dropped off the last couple games. But listen, Bournemouth are going into, let's say, the good run of fixtures now. Let's see if it picks up again. But listen, I'm not going to take out Senesi. I'm very happy owning him. Let's have a look at my midfield. And now for the midfield. And I feel like my midfield is in a very good position this week. Enzo Fernandez against Burnley away. Of course, he wasn't called up, let's say, to the Argentina squad. We know he's carrying a small niggle. But do I expect him to play against Burnley? I'll be honest, I think the answer to that question is yes. I think Argentina and Enzo have spoken about it, that he's carrying a bit of a niggle. He's been carrying it for a couple months. But it seems that Chelsea are managing it relatively well, let's say. So I do expect him to play. Semenyo is obviously another doubt going into this game. He left the Ghana squad for personal reasons. We did see him proposing to his girl. So hopefully, listen, I saw him on one knee. He's fine in my eyes. I think he will play against West Ham. But obviously, let's see what Iraola says tomorrow in the press conferences just to get a better update. But listen, I expect him to be fully fit for the game. And listen, West Ham at home, it is a brilliant fixture. And again, like I said with Senesi, Bournemouth's fixtures are picking up over the next couple game weeks, which hopefully does mean Semenyo FPL returns. Because since I brought you in, you have barely done anything for me since game week 8, which has been very frustrating because you punished me before. But listen, what can we do? Bukayo Saka against Tottenham at home. Again, like I said, Saka and I think Arsenal have a relatively good record in North London derbies over the last couple games. I think all it seems that Saka does well against Tottenham. And I feel like this could be another good opportunity. But at the same time, like I said before, Tottenham have improved defensively under Thomas Frank. Are they a brilliant defense? The answer to that question is no. The expected goals conceded data is still not great. But are they better than what they were under Ange? The answer to that question is yes. So I don't expect the games to be, let's say, how they were over the last couple of years. But at the same time, like I said with Timber, Arsenal, I expect them to win this game. It's a North London derby though. Anything can happen. And another frustrating man, someone that I really need to turn up this week, is start against Wolves away. Wolves, new manager Rob Edwards, do I expect much from them? I'll be honest, I think the answer to that question is still no in my eyes. I don't think Rob Edwards is a manager that has convinced me enough over, let's say, the years from when he was at Watford. Luton obviously got them promoted, but obviously struggled in the Premier League. Middlesbrough, his job is still early, was doing relatively well, but I'm not, let's say, too hopeful for Wolves. I still expect Crystal Palace to win this game. Brilliant opportunity. Please get me returns, because I feel like, as I said before, he's been getting returns in every other competition bar the Premier League. So this week, game week 12, you better turn up. But anyway, let's have a look at the attack. And now the attack, similar to what I said about Mateta, great opportunity against Wolves. I don't think Wolves are great. Mateta, brilliant opportunity to hopefully get me 1 or 2 returns. Because listen, as I said, there's only one thing I like more than you guys like in this video, and that's FPL returns, I'll be honest. So Mateta is your opportunity to shine. I've currently got Haaland and the captaincy armband on him. I'm not too sure, I'll be honest. I think this is a very, very good week to go against Haaland for captaincy. Listen, Newcastle are slightly weaker without, let's say, Dan Burn in the backline. They haven't looked great defensively over the last 2 games. Erling Haaland can still do damage. Could Bukayo Saka do damage as well? 100%. We know Saka's also going to be on penalties now, 100%, because Gyökeres should be out for this game. So it is a very, very tight call. I'm going to lean towards Erling Haaland if I stick with this setup in my team right now. Just because, listen, he's the most informed player arguably in the world right now. I think it would be silly. I'm not going to say silly. I think he's a toss-up, really, innit? I'm leaning towards Haaland for now. But again, if you want to go Saka, I think he's a fine decision this week. Woutmod, I'll be honest, he's leaving my team this week. No matter what, I'm not going to talk about him too much. Newcastle offensively are not clicking. I haven't been impressed with the attacking dynamics. Also, we know early subs is a possibility with Woutmod. Enough said on that. Let's have a look at my 2 transfer plans right now. Now let's have a look at my transfer plans. And this I'm going to call transfer plan route 1. Listen, both transfer plans or the set of transfers that I want to make involve selling Woutmod to Mark Gui. I want to dead in that spot. So just remember that, guys. Also, I have Gabriel in my team and I want to sell Gabriel because obviously he's out for 1 to 2 months. I'll be honest, it's just too many fixtures over the next couple games or next couple months, let's say, to be holding on to Gabriel. And I could spend the money elsewhere quite nicely. So this route involves me getting rid of Gabriel to Virgil van Dijk into that Liverpool defence for the great run of fixtures. Someone that's going to play 90 minutes every single game over the Christmas period, which is something I like. We also know in terms of premium defenders, Virgil van Dijk is very, very good for DEFCON. So that is something that I quite like. Also, this route involves selling Shaw Longstaff, who's, let's say, a bench player on my team anyway, and bringing in Brian Mbeumo, who I think is probably the best Manchester United attacker or midfielder to bring, let's say, just because we know he's going to be in the final third the most. We know he has different routes to points with set pieces. I like Bruno, I like Cunha, but I think I like Brian Mbeumo a bit more. So this is how the first set of transfers, let's say, look like. 3 transfers made. Let me summarize it. Woutmod going, Longstaff going, Gabriel going, Virgil van Dijk in, Brian Mbeumo in, and then Mark Gui in. Now, the second route, let's say, second pathway of transfers is a bit more braver, is a bit more bold, is a bit, let's say, I don't think people are necessarily going to agree with it the most, if that makes sense. But listen, this is where I need help from you guys in the comments. Make sure you guys let me know which route you would go down, because I feel like, as much as I hope you guys need to help me this week, because I feel like this week is going to be very, very important for, let's say, the way I reshuffle and my FPL season is really going to go. So again, this route, like I said before, involves Woutmod going, Mark Gui coming in. But where this route differentiates a bit is Gabriel becomes Richards because I need funds to bring in Salah. So Richards for me is still one of the better 4.5 million defenders to bring. The only thing, like I said before, I am slightly concerned about is schedule in terms of Crystal Palace have a lot of games coming up over the next 2 months. Do I expect Richards to maybe be left out of one game? Potentially. We know Gueye was out last game. Kavanagh, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the young French centre-back that Crystal Palace have, slotted in, did relatively well. So could that be a case where Richards might get rested for an odd game? Maybe. And we've also seen Richards' minutes being managed in Europe, for example. So that is something that I do have to think about. But obviously, as I said, Gabriel to Richards. And then this route does involve me selling Bukayo Saka, because that's the only way I can fund the king of FPL over the previous years, Mo Salah. Now, this is going to be a controversial one because obviously, let's say Liverpool haven't been the best, but at the same time, I still feel like when you're looking at underlying numbers in terms of expected goal involvement, since, let's say, the last international break, Mo Salah's numbers have seen a slight improvement. And listen, can Liverpool get any worse? The answer to that question is no. Also, do I feel, let's say, safer captaining Salah over Saka? Probably. And this might just be historical bias in terms of we know the damage that Salah's done in the past rather than what's happening right now in front of us. But for example, this week, if I do bring in Salah, I feel more confident captaining Salah against Nottingham Forest than I do against Bukayo Saka against Tottenham. It's a weird one because a lot of people probably do disagree with that, but that's just the way I think right now in FPL. And listen, it's just my subjective opinion. And listen, if I do go ahead with this set of moves, Mo Salah will be my captain for this week. The only problem I would say with this set of moves is it leaves me with a sticky situation in terms of my bench, first of all, will be very, very weak. Joe Rodon, Sean Longstaff, and Mark Gui, listen, let's not even include him because he's not going to play. So during this Christmas period, we know we're, let's say, likely to get injuries. We're likely to see players get rested. I don't have much bench cover. Where I am kind of lucky with this route, it leaves me with 0.7 million in the bank. So if I really wanted to, I could upgrade Joe Rodon to another 4.5 million defender, for example. Maybe a Van Hecke who's 4.4. Brighton's fixtures over the next couple are very good. That leaves me with a stronger bench, for example. But again, I'm not too sure what you guys are going to think about it. But like I said, it leaves me with a good possibility to go against certain Haaland captaincies for certain weeks. For example, game week 16, Haaland has Crystal Palace. That's a tough game. Salah has Brighton that week. I can go against Erling Haaland. But also, what I do want to say is with these two routes, I feel like the first set of routes, so this one here, does lock in me free hitting in game week 13 because I do want to get rid of, let's say, Chelsea and Arsenal plays in terms of Arsenal are playing Chelsea next week. That's going to be a very, very difficult game. So I do want to, let's say, get rid of Enzo, get rid of Saka, for example. And I do want to target other teams. For example, Mo Salah has West Ham next week. Erling Haaland has Leeds next week. I might want to bring in Phil Foden, let's say. Manchester United also have Crystal Palace next week. That's going to be two teams that are heavily involved that we don't know which way the game's going to go. So I don't mind getting rid of a Brian and Mbeumo, Sarr and Mateta for next week. That is something I have to think about. With this set of routes, moves, let's say, it probably does lock in me free hitting in game week 16 because that week, Manchester City of Crystal Palace, I'm going to have free Crystal Palace. I would probably want to get rid of him. I think that week, as I said, Mo Salah is a great captaincy option. That week, Arsenal also have Wolves. So bringing in someone like Bukayo Saka, maybe a potential Eze or Gyökeres if he's back. Obviously, having one defensive Arsenal coverage is also nice. So that is something that I do have to think about. The second set of transfers involved me free hitting in game week 16. The first set of moves involved me free hitting in game week 13. But listen, I've explained my two set of routes. I'm going to wait until tomorrow. I want to, let's say, hear a bit more information about what managers say regarding certain players, regarding Semenyo, Enzo. And let's see the updates that we get before I make my final decisions. I'm currently leaning towards this. I think it's a bit more safer over the Christmas period. But at the same time, you guys know I do like a bit of calculator risk. And I think the Mo Salah route is very, very spicy. But anyway, let me know what you guys will do down below in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and listen, green arrows this week, hopefully.